Hey everybody, welcome to Mailin It, the official podcast of the United States Postal Service. I'm Dale Parsan.
And I'm Carla Kirby. We've got a good one for you today. This episode, we welcome back Postmaster General Louis DeJoy to the podcast. Louis is going to talk with us about his expectations for the holiday season and how the Postal Service is planning it for us.
While we've got the Postmaster General in the studio with us, we're also going to take an opportunity to get an update on his 10-year Postal Service transformation plan, also known as Delivering for America. Louis, welcome to Mailin It.
Hey guys, great to be with you again.
In the last few years, the country has seen a lot of change between the pandemic, the economy, and consumer spending habits. What does the Postal Service expect in terms of mail and package volumes for this holiday season?
So like the rest of the industry and the retail industry especially, we expect to see a slight reduction in e-commerce type of activity, package home delivery types of activities, but still significantly above where we were 3 years ago, before the pandemic. So there's been a handsome take rate in terms of this model of sales and delivery, and we're excited about it. From our standpoint, we don't necessarily have a density problem because we've got to go to every home every day anyway. So I see tremendous opportunity in the stability that we have built over the last couple of years in the organization to really fine-tune our execution and our cost models as we move forward and trying to get on that track to deliver to the American people, become the preferred delivery provider, and be the most reliable and most affordable. So for us, it's going to be good to have a level of activity that is not coming at us at 1,000 miles an hour. I think we're very much in control of what we're about to embark upon this season, and the American people should expect a great service at the United States Postal Service.
When we're coming to this kind of a determination around what we expect for volumes, are there key indicators that the Postal Service sees that maybe the general public doesn't?
So the general public kind of knows what they're going to be spending, right? They kind of feel it, especially, right now. So we have been closely monitoring our forecast on this. I think we all kind of deal with the same external forecasts of what the economy is doing and what we think the public's going to do, and looking at our individual contracts. So we all do that kind of work, and we're as a service provider. You're kind of relying on those types of, forecasts.
So I think we can agree it's been a challenging time for the shipping industry, especially in terms of transportation and the tight labor market, right? So keeping that in mind, how has the Postal Service positioned itself relative to these challenges? And are there specific advantages that the Postal Service can leverage?
We have taken on a lot of initiatives as an organization to improve in terms of our utilization of our existing transportation system, because it was underutilized, to open up to a broader carrier base over the last 2 years. The leadership's done a really, really good job at that, having various initiatives. And we've gotten a lot of participation. We got a lot of participation in new suppliers and so forth. And that's a long-term and very, very important strategy for us to be successful. Because remember, we're creating a ground, a much better. We have a lot of opportunity in terms of our delivery service and also our cost in terms of having an effective ground system. We're also seeing the market has helped us. The market has softened a little, so we have a lot of participation from carriers. They know they're getting more comfortable with serving us. About 87% of our carriers only did business with us.
Wow.
Right? So we're broadening that out to get more into, to take advantage of the big market, because we always have freight, and we always have freight from the same places. So we're pretty predictable. We run trucks, whether we have one container in them or not, because it's got to be there.
Yep.
So we're seeing, that's working for us very nicely. And then there is a softening in the market. While fuel prices are up, it's a much different market than it was just a year ago. So we're seeing some cost relief there also. So I'm pretty excited about the team we have managing that. So I feel pretty good about that. On the labor front, We face the same market that everybody else does, but we had our own internal issues that compound. Even in a good labor market, we had a pretty bad labor staffing practice, right? And we've, over the last 2 years, we've tried to fix that. We've converted over 100,000 people to full-time employment. We have huge hiring fairs around the country, and we offer the promise of long-term career and respectable retirement. That's the Postal Service, and we're reintroducing that with a great deal of energy, so that someone coming in as a mail carrier can rise up and sit in my seat one day. It's happened before, and I think we kind of lost that promise over the years for a lot of different reasons. But we're trying to get back to that. So the result is, I think we're only adding 25,000 people for peak season this year.
Wow.
I mean, it's significantly down from years past because we're staffed up. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we are on the labor side for peak, and I feel good about our position long term because there is competition for labor, and we can win that with the promise of career and all the other things that the Postal Service has to offer to its long-term employees.
It's a very attractive place to work.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. We absolutely have an attractive benefits package. So all things considered, you sound very excited about the upcoming holiday season. So what are your specific expectations around service performance?
So the number one thing is to meet our service commitments to our customers. Right, and that is to perform, within the standards that we have for the different classes of mail that we move. I expect us to do it without a lot of fanfare and not have to have our people perform Herculean efforts to pull it off. We should have a modest rise in intensity, but we're staffed now, and we have a certain operating disciplines that we're bringing to the organization that enable us to absorb the additional volume. I mean, we put in 250 conveyor systems since I've been here. All that volume previously was handled by hand multiple times. So our capacity is like 60 million packages a day. I don't think we'll see that, but we have peaks and valleys where that rate to get there needs to be accommodated, right? Within a day, between 12 and 2 or whatever. We need that kind of rate to get through. And if you don't, you have backlogs and so forth. So I think that we're going to be, pretty good there. What I'm really impressed with in the organization that makes me very proud of the team of what we have done now with how we operate, the visibility tools that we deploy, the collaborative interaction that gets on there. If we have a miss, right, it doesn't last very long. Right?
We're able to recover.
We're able to see it and recover. Last year, if you looked at a day late, the next morning from our service standards, we were over 96% in terms of delivery on the package business. Over 96%.
Phenomenal.
Right. And a lot of that was in the next morning because we ran a 6 to 9 in the morning type of operation to get the stuff.
Get it out the door.
People are very accommodating with that during the season. People are happy to begin with. It's during the season. They don't notice when your package is missing for 10 days. People
you definitely notice.
So we're going to be, very good, and we are going to anything that doesn't make where it's supposed to be is going to be there, be very, very close. So I'm excited about it. Right. And long term, I think the Postal Service will be the cost-effective peak season delivery provider.
Great points.
While the holiday season is the best time of the year for me personally, I want to take an opportunity to pick your brain a little bit on the Delivering for America plan. We introduced it in the past year, and the idea that the Postal Service will become financially sustainable and improve service performance. So far, we've been able to make a lot of good progress on both of those fronts, but I want to get your personal take on each of those. How do you assess progress in getting the Postal Service on a financially sustainable path?
So we could take service first. I mean, I talk to our shipping customers all the time, the mailers and so forth. And service has been pretty stable. We're in the mid to low 90s on all classes of mail and packages, and it's costing us in our current network to provide that level of service, but we're committed to doing so. And we know what is impacting this service now. I can, lane by lane, pair by pair, that's very visible, and we're focused on that. And I think we'll continue to see service improve as we move forward with the new network, and that's going to be location by location. Like we're going into Atlanta. Atlanta's usually 20-25% below the performance of the rest of the nation. We're going to fix all that and bring that up. That's a big market that will drive, a few points on our service across the board and be more inviting to the marketplace. So service, we're on our way. The rest, we want to look at financial, right? So when I got here, we were going to lose $160 billion over the next 10 years, and we had to take 100,000 people out of the organization to do that. We got Postal Reform Act passed. That was $50 billion of our plan, and we got it done. That will save us. That's a punt down the road. We eventually have to start paying that again, 6-7 years from now. So we need to get busy on the rest of the stuff. One of the other elements of it was the pricing. I believe we had a defective pricing model for the last 15 years. PRC, Postal Regulatory Commission, finally made a decision and mostly fixed that prospectively, didn't address the previous years, but we have some room in there, and we've been using that, and that'll get us about $40 to $45 billion over the next 10 years to the good. The rest of it is, most of it is on us. We want to get $35 billion out of our cost structure. This is a big year for this because it's we first tried to stabilize our service, get the plan out. Now there's demands on each aspect of our operations to get cost out and specific numbers. This is adult work now, right? And we're going to be monitoring it, and we have specific targets. And, that should be helpful. Once I see that happen, I'll be able to forecast out, our ability to accomplish, this stuff. And it's in all areas. It's in delivery, it's in transportation, it's in the plant operations, and so forth. And then we have new business sales. I mean, we have to, turn the sales around and get our fair share of the package business. And that's to the tune of 25 or $30 billion over the next 10 years. And I'm optimistic.
That's great.
So the Postal Service is going through one of the largest transformations in the nation, given public or private sector. Can you explain some of the larger elements of the transformation?
The way I look at it is the way I looked at it when I came in here. I mean, we're an operational services entity. Right? 95% of our people do physical distribution type of work, right? Most of the analytics and competencies of the support functions, technology, engineering, and so forth, should be focused on that. And my view was when I came in here, we did not have a good organizational strategy to pull off what our mission was and to also compete with the competitive, players that were out there. And we've had some great success in making that, that transition. I was not in favor of our operational metrics, how we ran things, how we looked at things, and we've made significant changes in that. And we have had tremendous results in terms of simple things like, plant schedules and paying attention to service and paying attention to cost and so forth. So those are the big things that I say are, major transformational things that had to, how we organize to do our work and how our work is organized to be done, right, is really what we're doing. And then we go through everything around our sales and marketing, how we're positioned in the marketplace, what our product, we're touching all our products, realigning all our products, and we're trying to make that a little more integrated, building on itself, allowing the cost efficiencies that we can bring by operating better, make its way into our pricing, make its way into our marketplace. Remember, we got to deliver. The Postal Reform Act said deliver mail and packages in an integrated network, right? Well, we don't have an integrated network. That's one of the things we're setting out to do, and that's a big transformation we'll be undergoing. But I couldn't do it without a better operating strategy, with a better organizational strategy. How we operate, the logical sequencing of mail moves, mail and package movement, and value-added activities to the ultimate delivery to the resident is very much what we're focused on. It is a little bit of a simple science, right? And that is, a big part of the transformation.
Well, let's talk about money. How are these things all sound great, Louis, but how are we going to pay for it? I know in the Delivering for America plan, we set out a goal of $40 billion of investment over that 10-year horizon. But, with all this thought around transformation, could you talk to us about how it gets paid for?
So when I got here, we were going to run out of cash in about 90 days or something. It was
scary.
Right. Yeah. It was close.
It was scary. And it's also very hard to make decisions in an environment like that. Today, we're sitting on, I think, approximately $20 billion right now from various activities, that we've, by not losing as much, by getting postal reform, by working with the Congress and administration to get reimbursed for delivering during the pandemic and so forth. But I think our loss is about cut in half. From $160 billion, we're looking at $70 billion over the next 10 years.
Wow.
While that's good news, I still run out of cash in 5 years or something like that. So whether you run out of cash tomorrow, right? Whether you run out of cash tomorrow or 5 years from now, you still got a bad plan that you have to deal with. We got to get it. And we got a plan to get it. And in the course of getting that, we throw off cash. In the plan, it says we throw off $40 billion, right? So between the cash we have on hand and the $40 billion we throw off.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Cash generation from our operating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, from our operating. Between the two, we're going to be reinvesting about $40 billion into our network. We'll spend $15 to $16 billion over the next 3 years on capital and 40 over the 10-year plan. And it's going to go in new vehicles. We have already committed $3 or $4 billion to new vehicles. We had the Congress appropriated $3 billion to try and nudge, to get us more. This is separate from that $3 billion, and we're looking at how we use that to be judicious. To me, we need to spend the money in the right way to get to fulfill the mission, and so forth. And I've been working with many different constituents to make sure that we're on the right path on electric vehicle deployment, because there is, certain, risk of deployment, and we still got to deliver mail every day, right? So that's important. But the network, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into new conveyor systems. We're putting, billions of dollars into our technology over the next 10 years. Billions of dollars into our network with new facilities and upgrading the facilities and making them better for our employees, more suited for the function that they have. I mean, we probably have $2-3 billion, $4 billion worth of deferred maintenance. So if I go into a building and want to put $10 million in to put a conveyor in there, and I want this to be a long-term place for us, I have to go back 10 years and look at all the deferred maintenance. Yeah, it could be $20 million.
Oh my
It could be $20 million as we move forward. So, and we have to do this to bring everything up to a grade. You look at, the S&D, we have a facility down in Athens, our first super delivery unit. It's a smaller site, but this was a nice facility, was a plant at one time, had been, not used for a long time, but, in a beautiful area, nice place. And we're going to put, we'll probably put $10 million into the facility to improve employee amenities, get ready for more vehicles being there, electric vehicles. It has a lot of amperage already there. So we have some good assets. right? We just need to aggregate them and deploy them in the proper place and then bring them up to workable condition.
Absolutely.
So that is absolutely a great segue into my next question. You've touched on the infrastructure and the changes that we're making within the Postal Service. What can you say about the tangible impacts that our residential customers and our commercial customers will see?
Well, our commercial customers are already beginning to get excited about the just sheer performance of our service and the affordability that we're planning to bring. When you look at a first-class package, a 5-day service as it moves across the country, that means it's some places it's 1 day, in some places it's 2 days, in some places it's 3 days. And the regional aspect of distribution is becoming more prevalent in the marketplace. That is how people get their product there in 2 days. And not everybody wants to fly things, everywhere. And we're a big player in that. We have the best regional network coverage of anybody because we go everywhere every day. We just never organized for it. When we get through with the network change, you'll be able to, at the new site in Atlanta, you'll be able to enter a package or a piece of mail at 7, 8, 9 at night and have it delivered the next day to 7, 8 million people around the Georgia area.
Wow.
And in 2 days, 55 million people around the Southeast, right? That's kind of how the network is being designed. So there's tremendous opportunity, and we are like trying to be able to contract better, right? Trying to ease the burden of contracting that was very difficult with us, right? On all the shipper side. We're opening up local, USPS Connect Local for small businesses. We're going to have a big set of offerings and, for local businesses with USPS Connect Local, where we're freeing up space in some of these delivery units. There's a lot of different things we can offer them, even to be inside our network to operate and ship their
Get into the mail stream faster.
Yeah, and more cost effectively. We're really following the cost. We have a cost capacity type model that we're looking at, and if you fill up capacity, it should be incremental, right? In terms of how we look at it. So lots of commercial-oriented creative activities between technology, operations, and how shippers use our network. For the individual, I think long-term, for the resident, they're going to get good service. They're going to get cost-effective delivery. I think as we get more prevalent in the marketplace, hopefully, I don't think everybody wants to see 50 trucks running up and down their neighborhood streets. And therefore, I think with all these different opportunities, we become a market maker because we're reliable and we are affordable, right? And then the market will also figure out how to use that. So I'm excited about it.
Great. Well, sir, you touched on it a little bit, but I've got a final question for you. And it's simply put, what's your vision for the future role of the Postal Service in America?
My vision is, number one, to fill the requirements of the law. There is a law that says, especially now, we have to deliver to 163 million addresses 6 days a week, an integrated mail and package network. So my vision is to make us really, really good at doing that. And when I say good, is reliable and cost effective, right? Because the other part of the law is, and we have to cover our cost, right? And those two things should be aligned. I should be able to look at the mailers like I do and say, I got to raise the prices to whatever the price raise is, but they should also know and feel that we're operating efficiently, right? And, there's a whole lot out of balance like that. We should have been raising prices more over the last 15 years. We haven't, right? And we should have been running the place better over the last 15 years, and we haven't, right? My vision is to make that happen. And I believe that in the marketplace, we should be like the most used. That's what I want to be. It's not that creative.
Like you said, it's not rocket science, right?
Reinventing the wheel, huh? So when you think about it, you talked about us already delivering to 163 million addresses each year. What is one thing you would like to share with our customers for holiday season?
Well, As anytime I speak to customers, especially during the holiday season, first thing I want to say is thank you for your business and happy holidays. But with regard to the United States Postal Service, use us. Use us, because we're going to be extremely reliable and affordable. And we're going to have a successful peak, as we did last year. For a vast majority of the population, we're over 95% in terms of delivering packages across all our products.
So we're here, we're ready, we can do it.
Absolutely.
Louis, great opportunity having you back here on the podcast. Really appreciate you taking time to come and join us and update the audience on how we're performing this year.
Yeah, it's great. Great to be with you both. And Carla, welcome to, this is the first time I've interacted with you on a set. And Dale, you're looking a little older than when you first
gray hair's popping up.
Yeah, how are you enjoying doing this?
It's a wonderful opportunity to leverage my expertise across the organization through my normal job, and then bring it here to help share with the audience.
Who's been your best interview?
Oh gosh, there's been Chief Barksdale. I'm kidding, it's you, sir.
Very good.
Well, definitely. Thank you for joining us, and don't be a stranger. You got to come back.
Invite me back. Got a lot to say. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. It's time for Did You Know? In this segment, Carl and I share some interesting details about the Postal Service that most people probably don't know.
And I'll take the first one. Dale, did you know that November 15, 2022 marked the 150th anniversary of the first time an African-American woman is known to have been appointed to the postmaster position?
I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
That's right. In 1872, Anna M. Dumas was appointed postmaster of the Covington, Louisiana post office.
That's pretty groundbreaking stuff.
It was for that time. She held the position until 1885. And her service paved the way for other African-American postmasters like Minnie Cox. Minnie was the first black woman postmaster in Mississippi starting in 1891 and was one of the most well-known postmasters of her time. In 1902, some white citizens of Indianola demanded that she resign so the position could be given to a white man.
And how did she respond?
She ended up making national headlines when President Theodore Roosevelt refused to accept her resignation. Instead, he suspended service at the Indianola post office and ordered the Attorney General to prosecute any citizens who threatened Minnie with violence. After her time with the Postal Service, Minnie went on to open a bank and insurance company to make sure that those types of services were available to African American residents.
That's a pretty remarkable woman.
She really was.
Speaking of civil rights, Carla, did you know that the first African American to earn the Medal of Honor was a letter carrier?
I had no clue. Definitely tell me more.
Yeah, it was later in their life. So his name was William H. Carney, and he was born in Norfolk, Virginia in 1840. He spent most of his childhood as a slave in Norfolk. Eventually, William and his family made their way to Massachusetts and freedom. In 1863, when he was 23 years old, William enlisted in the Union Army. He joined the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, the first regiment of black troops raised in the North.
So what was he most remembered for?
Well, he's best known for his role in the charge on Fort Wagner outside of Charleston, South Carolina. Anyone who's seen the movie Glory with Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington will be somewhat familiar with what happened there. When the unit's flag bearer was shot during the battle, William retrieved the American flag himself and continued to march it forward despite his own wounds.
So how did he become a letter carrier?
Well, after he was discharged from the Army in 1864, he returned to New Bedford, Massachusetts. In 1869, was appointed as one of the city's first letter carriers. He held that position for nearly 32 years and was a founding member of the New Bedford branch of the National Association of Letter Carriers. He received the Medal of Honor in 1900 for his Civil War bravery. And with that wraps up another segment of Did You Know?
Great information as always. Dale, what a great conversation with the PMG today.
It's always a nice treat to have him take some time out of his schedule to come down and talk with us.
It is. And one of the things that he said definitely resonated with me about the holiday season. The fact that we're here, we're ready, and we deliver.
Great message for all of our customers across the nation.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm a big DFA nerd. I really enjoy learning about the updates, and for me, it always comes back to investments. The fact that we have made this promise that we're going to invest $40 billion, and to hear him talk about the various projects and areas of the Postal Service that he's already slated with the executive leadership, billions and billions of dollars that are ready and primed, it's really inspiring. As somebody who works here, it's great to know that we are actively making decisions in our future.
Absolutely. And as we continue down delivering for America, I think we're going to see some great things happening. So that's all for this episode of Mailing It. Don't forget to subscribe to Mailing It wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you don't miss the next episode. And follow along on Instagram at U.S. Postal Service, Twitter at USPS, and on Facebook.